Well, hi everybody. Welcome to yet another. We're not in yet another territory, I don't think. But welcome to Trek Reluctantly. Dana, how are you, my dear?
Yeah, I think we just want to watch the show. There's like a whole
it's it,
conversation there.
it's your yeah, you're right. It's yeah. Yeah.
How are you? Well, just the one of my 2020 mantras. It could always be worse.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I am glad that it is not worse. And yeah,
I'm
so
like,
so for everybody who is joining us for the first time, if anybody is watching us and haven't watched one of our watch-alongs before.
Elijah says it's the first time
Hey,
catching it
Well,
live.
hi, Elijah. Look, I was looking right at the live chat and I completely spaced on Elijah saying, hello, my first time catching this live. So, for anybody who is catching this for the first time, whether you're catching it live for the first time or whether you've never watched it in live or recorded form, here's how this is going to work. We are going to watch an episode of Firefly. We're actually going to be watching the third episode of Firefly titled Bushwhacked, which I have never seen and which Dana has seen. And the way it's going to work is you have to watch the episode on your end. So you go ahead and queue up Firefly episode 3 wherever you watch it, whether it's I watch it on Hulu, Dana has her own copy, whatever, if you have it on DVD or whatever, boot up your copy of Bushwhacked. And for those of you who are watching along with me on Hulu, or if you are watching on any copy that has Book's little opening narration at the beginning, because this was an issue we ran into
Mm-hmm.
when we watched the last Firefly
Last week,
episode.
or not
Because,
last week, but
yeah,
week before.
week before last. So Dana is watching a version of the episode that does not have the opening narration. But Hulu does have the opening narration. So what we're going to do is those of us who are watching the version that does have Book's opening narration, which is kind of just sort of a summary of the premise of the series, that ends with the line, "A captain's goal was simple: find a crew, find a job, keep flying." Go ahead and seek past that. And on Hulu, it's at 37 seconds in, or 43 minutes and 54 seconds remaining. That's where those of us who have that recap need to be paused when we start. So if you're watching it on Hulu or another version that has the recap at the beginning, pause at 37 seconds in. That is right after that fades out. And then when you push play, when I tell you to, it'll fade in, and Dana will push play, and all the rest of you who are watching a version that don't have the recap at the beginning. And we should all be more or less synced up so we're all on the same page. Okay? Okay.
Well, Mr. Nintendo Joe says it's a Life Day in Canada, which is cool. I'm not entirely sure what Life Day entails, but that sounds pretty nifty.
Does
Happy Life
Canada
Day.
have a different life day than
Do we have a
the Wookiee planet does? What is it, Kashyyyk?
It
Hey,
is.
speaking of Life Day, thank you, Mr. Nintendo Joe, for the unintentional opportunity to plug one of my podcasts. I believe tomorrow, Christmas Eve, the brilliant and talented and tireless Jason Harding will be posting the Christmas episode of the Late Seating podcast, where we will be doing a watch along of the Star Wars Holiday Special, which we had planned to do last year, but there were some technical difficulties and that episode had to be scrapped. So we tried it again this year. All is well, as far as I know. Jason has not messaged me in a panic to say the episode didn't work again. So I think going up tomorrow will be the Christmas episode of Late Seating, where it'll be a watch along of the Star Wars Holiday Special. And that it was a lot of fun to record, and hopefully it'll be a lot of fun to listen to. Although, unfortunately, in order for it to make sense, you will have to watch the Star Wars Holiday Special while you listen to our show. So,
And that I'm sure. Well, it probably won't make it worse.
I hope we don't make it worse. I don't know. I had
You
some really.
think it's pretty good? Like, did it have a good vibe when you performed it?
Oh, it had such a great vibe, Dana.
Ooh.
The vibe was tremendous.
It was tremendous. So,
Great vibe.
Darren, I'm with you there. I am so
Some alcohol might be useful. Yes. Yes,
Matthew,
indeed.
and I applaud you, Matthew, for your accurate spelling of Kashyyyk. You know,
Got to get those three
I
Y's
don't
in
know
there.
what it is with the Wookiees and the vowels, the repetitive vowels. But
It's because their fur gets caught in the keyboard and it holds it down. And it, you know,
wouldn't it make it more okay? We'll go with that. We'll just go.
I'm just riffing here. You have to be.
Yeah, I know.
This is a recurring issue between us. You have to be more charitable when it comes to my off the cuff riffs. I mean,
no,
well, you don't have to be. You don't have to be.
I can do what I want.
Believe me, that has been emphatically established.
Like my favorite part of doing shows is I get to do what I want.
Yeah,
it's the best. All right.
So,
without further ado, plenty of do already.
No,
we had done the do.
The do has been dude. Now it is time to watch the show. So once again, and for those of you who are maybe just joining us, we're watching episode 3 of Firefly. If you are watching it along with me on Hulu or another service that has books recap at the beginning, you want to seek ahead to 37 seconds in and then pause it there. And that's where we will start, because Dana is watching a version that does not have the recap, that just starts at the beginning of the episode. And that way we can all be synced up together. So
I didn't realize Book talked that much. Jeez.
God,
I guess he is a preacher, so
yeah,
I suppose it's to be expected.
Close the book. You don't need to give me anything for that. That wasn't that great. That was, yeah. I
was going to try to avoid saying it this time, but I will acknowledge.
I won't even hopefully pause for a laugh.
Thank you, Corey. We appreciated that, because I was like, why are all of you guys wrong?
Yes, thank you, Corey. All right, so are we ready?
Click. Here we go.
All right, everybody get ready. As usual, I will give us a count in from 3. It'll be 3, 2, 1, play, and you push play when I say play. And then when we get to a commercial, I'll do 3, 2, 1, pause, and we can take a break and talk about what just happened, everything like we usually do. But for those of you who are watching for the first time, that's how we do it. So here we go with Firefly episode 3, Bushwhacked, in 3, 2, 1, play. Sports.
Sports ball. There's the ball.
And if you have the closed captions on, it just said yelling, cheering, hooting.
Yeehaw.
Also, I just want to note, the ball is silver because they are in space.
Space.
It's
space ball.
It's space. They're playing space ball. Can you keep it down? I have a client in my shuttle. So it's like basketball.
It's domestic.
It's like basketball, just way easier. Don't we all?
Amen.
I guess I am pretty awesome.
No.
Fun's over. But, there's going to be egg on his face if it turns out that they are.
For the clumsy nerd, he is really ripped.
Because he plays so much space basketball.
Sports ball,
yeah. Turn a light on. Oh man, it's one of those.
Dun dun dun.
We'll just go ahead and keep watching after the credits because that was a short.
It usually is.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't complain, but
And now, our story. There's your precious deregulation.
he not like that.
To the authorities.
We'll miss you, some random geek.
Oh, buy some random geek. That's okay. We can scrounge for stuff?
Ooh, my nose tickles.
Oh no. It's an away mission. The doctor always goes on away missions. I think we just had a breakthrough. I think we're friends now.
Are we best friends now? Yep. Except, wait, no, that would be nope.
If it's an airlock, shouldn't they close the door behind them?
Well, obviously they don't want to close the door in front of them. That would be stupid. Then you can't go anywhere.
It's a disused set from Star Trek Enterprise. They left their TV dinners. Well, that was thoughtful of it.
Very polite.
Yeah, it's a good, yeah. Doesn't want to waste
Good
energy,
ship.
that ship.
Good
Yeah,
ship.
Shippy.
A styrofoam cup. They're living large.
Yeah, baby. Oh, don't read other people's diaries.
I always read other people's diaries.
Were you sleeping with the lights on again? Take that as a yes. Can I just hold my breath?
I mean, it's not far.
No, you just hold your breath and just run across the airlock.
Make sure you push off well, otherwise, go the wrong direction. Then you're screwed. Oh, and here we're gonna have another jump scare.
Oh boy.
As he, tries to get across. Thank you. No, that wasn't actually a sneeze. That was just sniffles. Simon's scared a lot, though.
No, don't take it off!
You'll be like us. That would be bad.
Oh, it was never actually sealed. I can what? Oh. Remember, don't be greedy. Just strip it down to the studs and let's get out of here. She's loose. One small step for a weird girl, one giant leap for weird girl kind. Well, there is now. Yeah, raid the kitchen. And their silverware is so much nicer than ours.
Food, 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 food.
Huzzah.
Obviously, they were wealthy. That's an American Girl doll.
Jackpot. Look, will you quit foreshadowing? Oh. Uh-oh. Three, two, one, pause. So Corey, I saw that your video froze and you're a little bit behind. I just paused right after the cut to black for the commercial. So if you pause there, we should be synced right back up when we start again. And I just want to shout out some people in the live chat with Derelict Trekkie. All the crew is just hanging around. Beautiful. And Matthew Turland with Everybody's Dead, Dave. So, spooky ghost ship.
Yeah, and of course the piano music. You gotta have the piano music.
Well, yeah, for sure.
Very important.
Yeah. I like that at least up to this point, the story has been driven by the general premise of the show. We've established in the episodes we've watched heretofore that life is kind of
perpetually
rough.
broke.
Yeah, they're perpetually broke. Life is kind of rough. So, why do they go aboard the ship? Because they need to see if there's
stuff.
They need to see if there's stuff on it that they can use. Exactly. So I like that.
Or sell.
Exactly. Well, yeah, exactly. To improve their own situation. So it's very it flows. It makes perfect sense. There's not a lot of contrivance of how do we get them on the ship. Blah blah blah. It's of course
there's stuff there.
Yeah.
So, any thoughts and or predictions?
I'm interested to see what the quote unquote ghosts turn out to be, because River has mentioned ghosts a couple of times. and I don't expect there to be actual literal supernatural ghosts. So I wonder what that'll turn out to be, you know. Also, as far as like, Deralta Trekkie said, the crew's just hanging around. That I immediately flashed to Star Trek 2 when they find the crew aboard the space station orbiting Regula. When at first it looks like it's abandoned, and then they find dead people, and a couple of them are hanging around. So,
Any guesses, as Matthew Turland says, to the source of the creep?
if you know, the ship is especially creepy if you know what the source of the creep is. Not at this time. No,
Okay.
I don't have a guess as to what the source of the creep may be right now. Charles Chapman, was it Khan? I'm pretty sure Khan was not responsible for this. No. Unless the ship drifted by SETI Alpha 5 and Khan was
through
like giving it
universes.
Yes. This is SETI Alpha 5!
Is it now? Huh.
That's what Khan would say.
Oh, okay.
That's what Khan would say.
I'll take you.
Zinkul, did you see the red balloon? Somebody else mentioned that before, that it reminded them of it. It's like, so is it Pennywise?
Well, I'm not going to tell you.
Yes, Wash. They float. They all float. Matthew, thank you, but no, it wasn't. It really wasn't. I think my Tim Curry it just now was better than my Khan, but I appreciate the.
That's not saying a whole lot.
Yeah, exactly. I appreciate the compliment.
Troubleshooter 125. I appreciated that.
Yes, that is yes, exactly. Not Pennywise. Actually, Pound Foolish is Pennywise's brother.
His much less well-known brother.
Yeah, they don't speak. They're not on good terms.
Well, is anybody really on good terms with Pennywise?
That's true. He's not the easiest guy to get along with.
He's really not.
Thank you, Corey. Corey agrees that my Tim Curry Pennywise was better than my Khan. See?
All about perspective.
Nice to have my own judgment confirmed. I appreciate that.
Steve?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes, Dana.
You were right.
I'm good. I'm fine.
I don't have anything else, really.
Neither do I. Shall we continue with the episode? Everybody. And by the way, for anybody who's watching, I am paused. I'm watching it on Hulu. I am paused at 16:31, or 28 minutes exactly remaining.
Matthew, I believe Matthew Turland asks if the source of the creep in this case has been referenced in a previous episode, and I think so.
Really?
I think so. And Deralta Trekkie is asking for you for a Tim Curry laugh.
Can I laugh like Tim Curry on? You know what? I don't know if I can. It's been so long since I saw it. I'm not sure. I don't know how. I can't remember how his laugh sounds. So I can't.
Although Matthew, that's a big clue. Although I don't think Steve's really paying attention. That's okay. I'm used to Steve not paying attention to me.
I'm always paying attention to you.
He says after like a nice long beat.
For emphasis.
Okay. We'll go with that.
Okay. Okay, good.
But apparently Steve hasn't been paying enough attention because everybody's saying, "Oh yeah, this has been referenced." And
okay. And by the way, Zinkul asks, "What is the scariest Star Trek franchise episode?" I would nominate Terok Nor from Deep Space Nine, but I'm sure there are others that other people might say. But I would say Terok Nor from Deep Space Nine is the scariest Star Trek episode.
I think Zoe gives the official. Yeah. All right.
The foreshadowing.
No, just it's the dialogue that they were referring to.
Yeah. Yeah. That went right by me. So
although I will say I disagree with her analysis. Yeah. All right. So let's get Steve up to speed, I guess.
Okay. Shall we resume?
We should.
No Charles, not the Scottish ghost candle episode. That's the sexiest episode. Okay, everybody get ready to resume playing. I'll count us in from 3. 3, 2, 1, play. Oh, Captain, my Captain. Oh, okay.
But I'm worried about you, honey.
Stop being so clingy. And there were 15 of them. Okay, Frady Cat. Yeah. Did you just make a pass at me?
Well, he is a very handsome man.
He gets that all the time. So, slide update. This is private talk.
Dun dun dun. Mark, we're watching season 1, episode 3 of Firefly.
Yeah, and we are about almost 21 minutes in. What did I just say? Oh, no, that's very judgmental.
Yeah, pretty
now.
much just another rogue nerd. It's like, Jane's scared, therefore we know it's scary.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. We should go, right? Yeah. Cut them down. Let the bodies hit the floor at least. You're welcome, Charles.
Oh, he gets a smile from his lady.
Oh, how fun.
Washington's like, I don't know about this.
I have total confidence.
So yeah, the first time Reavers are mentioned in the pilot, when Zoe says that Reavers will if they catch you, they'll rape you, kill
Rape you to death, yeah.
rape you to death, and then wear your clothes for skin, and if you're lucky, they'll do it in that order. And I'm just like, wouldn't like the death coming first actually make it better? I'm just saying. They don't seem the particular sort.
Right.
Just another rogue nerd. Exactly. It's that Juilliard, that academy training.
There, shut up. Uh-oh.
Thanks, Corey.
Oh, how interesting.
Do 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 do. Oh, and then now we hear the Reaver music, so we know.
It's serious. Uh-huh. It's the Borg.
Somehow we missed those guys.
Yeah, I know. It's like a huge ship.
It's big.
3, 2, 1, pause. And I paused at 27 minutes, 8 seconds in, or 17 minutes, 23 seconds remaining, for those of you who need a time code and aren't quite synced up. Yeah, so it's worse than the Reavers. It's the government. It's the oh no, it's the cops.
Yeah, pretty much.
Dorota Trekkie, the Borg, if they had a child with the Gould. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, they're pretty cute.
So, yeah, I guess I didn't expect the explanation to be as mundane as the Reavers. That's why I didn't guess the Reaver, because it seemed like everybody's saying like, "Ooh, it's ghosts," and the Reavers are like a pre-established, enemy. So it's like, "Oh, it's the Reavers." Okay. I mean, I know the Reavers are scary and all.
If you mean River,
yeah,
that's
everybody.
like that's. So yeah, but River's a little off, and there's more to what's going on than just the Reavers themselves. So,
well, that's good. It's a mystery. It's a mystery.
It's a mystery. Yeah, pretty much anything involving River is a mystery.
Yeah, that's especially at this point. It is. I do like that they are working her into the story of the episode, because that's something that I mentioned the last time we watched this, is that okay, time to start doing something with River now, because she's sort of been on the ship for the last 2 episodes, just kind of.
Yep, gotta have her screaming. Oh, and yeah, then there's also, let's not forget Joss's thing with feet. It's a thing. It's totally a thing. Oh, that's Corey and Matthew. Zoe explains why Reavers are scary in the pilot.
Yeah, not in this episode. Yeah.
She's not. It's Harry. I think Harry says Firefly is surprisingly hard sci-fi for a show with a psychic main character, and I think you can. I think that's arguable, and I think it's one of the things that the show actually does the best on. Exactly what the extent of River's abilities are.
Well, and also, I mean, I guess it depends on what definition you're going by, but I mean, the show doesn't strike me as particularly hard sci-fi. I mean, it strikes me as an adventure show set in space. Not necessarily hard. So, I mean, it's more action adventure and less speculative fiction. You know what I mean? Hard Western, exactly. Yeah. It's more hard Western than hard sci-fi.
They're Ultra Trekkie. The line in the pilot, that's what she says, may have said here, but the line in the pilot has to do with them brutalizing people. Yes. and without and that's why he talks about, when he's talking about no mercy, he's not talking about them. He's talking about the Reavers.
Right.
So just another broke nerd, Steve wants to know if you're picking up on what makes River special.
Not specifically. I mean, she has some kind of extra perception. I assume, there's something that she's getting that the other characters aren't. But like somebody mentioned psychic or whatever it is, but specifically, no, I don't have any hit as far as what specifically it might be. Just that she's, has some kind of ESP thingy.
I think it can be described away as just significantly higher senses. She's obviously Because there is the sense that, you know, the guy wakes up and that's what, you know, his terror and his paranoia is what wakes her up. But let's not, you know, forget the fact that he knocked the pan off and stuff went flying, clank, clank, clank. Now, granted, she's in another part of the ship, but with her heightened mental abilities, just like her heightened natural mental abilities that Simon talks about early on, it's also possible that perception is part of that. And, you know, she's just freaking out because, you know, freaky dude has made noise over here. And that noise is not supposed to be there. There are noises that you're supposed to hear that are good noises. That's a bad noise. It's not a good noise. And so she's freaking out.
Yeah. Yeah, just another broke nerd saying she quote unquote heard the screams before the bodies were found. I mean, if I had to guess, I don't have a specific thing, but I would she just seems sort of generically just kind of clairvoyant.
But at the same time, that's just, you know, there's a. I mean, they're all going on there, and they're essentially giving you the something bad happened here, something bad happened here. Well,
yeah,
you know, if something bad happened here, there probably was screaming. Duh. I'm just like saying, she's like, you know, there were screams before. And, you know, not that it's definitely framed that it is not her choice to do that in the weird way. It just, you know, she, you know, does not communicate in a normal way. But, you know.
Yes, John Gingers, I got a bad feeling about this. Exactly.
Yeah, very much so. It's River talk.
Yeah.
So. And yeah, the whole burning of her mind, I don't think it did, but
just another broke nerd. It's not really doing either one. The question is, being new to the show, does it draw me in, or will I need a payoff soon? As far as the mystery about River, I don't really. It's not particularly drawing me in. But at the same time, I'm not losing patience with it. Like, I'm not feeling like, all right, come on, because I feel like the show is doing a decent job of, again, we're only 3 episodes in, but the show is doing a decent job of sort of bringing that along without being so evasive about it, or, you know what I mean?
Clever.
Like, clever about it, or making a point of not telling you things, like, you know, setting something up as like, this is something you don't know that you need to know, but I'm not telling you yet. You know what I mean? Like, it hasn't done a whole lot of that. But no, I mean, as far as River being like, River is not, at this point, is not one of the things that is like drawing me into the show. The things that draw me into the show at this point are more the aesthetic, the setting, the tone, the little bits of comedy, and some of the characters. Like, I like Mal, and I like Wash, and I like Zoe. Although I'm surprised we don't get very much Zoe. Zoe is very much a supporting character so far. Like, she kind of pops up.
Sometimes she's laconic.
Yes, she pops up and has a couple of lines here and there, but she hasn't quite. You know, we haven't seen her take center stage really. But I love Gina Torres. She's a fantastic actor.
As far as needing a payoff soon, it's kind of easy not to worry about it too much, because you know that the payoff is going to happen relatively soon, because there's just not that much of the show.
Right. Yeah, that's true. It's one season.
That long. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's one season. So yeah. Yeah.
Not deliberately, Corey, referencing your favorite episode.
Derelict Trekkie, Agent May. Derelict Trekkie, Agent May is the cavalry. Okay. Okay. So shall we continue? Zinkel, I don't know that story specifically, but it wouldn't surprise me, because as we talked about when we watched a previous episode, there is a lot of Civil War allegory to it. So it may have been that he read the Killer Angels and said, I'm going to do that in space, but I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I think there's certainly, that may have been a more direct influence, but you can also see the influence of other media. Oh yeah.
Well, because it's not, and no, I have not read the book. No, I have not read the Killer Angels.
It's been a long time. I think I read it when I was in college.
I saw the movie. I saw Gettysburg. And for all of the Lost Cause, you know, secessionist
Lather.
apologetic horseshit. It is Gettysburg is a really good movie. But no, I haven't read the book. But and also, I mean, so yeah, I mean, I would imagine there are other if that is partially an inspiration, there would have to be other inspirations as well, because the Killer Angels is specifically about the Battle of Gettysburg, and this is
Very specific.
clearly not, you know,
just about the battle.
Yeah. So, but anyway, shall we?
Not quite, Derelta Trekkie.
Derelta Trekkie, no, not quite. No, it's a. I think it won the Pulitzer, didn't it? I think it won the Pulitzer. It's historical fiction about the Battle of Gettysburg. I'm pretty sure it won the Pulitzer, and was the basis for the movie Gettysburg that came out in like 93, 94 or something like that.
I will look for that, Harry. Have we seen that? I know we had one in the previous episode, but yeah. and that was specifically, she talks about his term of indenture. So
right.
And yeah, I think it's more stylistic than plot wise, as far as, you know, the North lost in Firefly. All righty.
Shall we?
I don't have anything else.
All right. Let us continue. So everybody, once again, we're paused. I'm paused watching it on Hulu at 27 minutes and 8 seconds in. That is 17 minutes, 23 seconds remaining. So if you need to sync up to that. And
don't listen to me. Mine's weird.
Dana has her own copy that she stole. That it's a pirated copy. I'm kidding.
You say that like it's a bad thing. I mean, it's not, but
I don't want the feds showing up to your house.
Speaking of the feds.
Hey, everybody get ready.
Nice little transition time.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. And we're going to get back into this. I'll count us in. 3, 2, 1, play. Hey, it's Doug Savant. He was on Melrose Place.
Thank you, Derelta Trekkie.
It was a nice transition. Yeah, that's right.
My friend out west said that out west you got to shoot first and ask questions later. I wanted to ask him why, but I had to shoot him first.
But we all got problems, Simon.
Yeah, Harry, Harry says, you know, different sources talk about it being a single star system, just with a lot of planets.
Well, that opening narration that you don't have book at least implies that it's a single star system, but I don't know if that's.
And I think it's something that they were going to explore in later seasons.
Yeah. Derelta Trekkie with the Wild Wild West reference. We're heroes, pretty much.
Big damn heroes, sir.
Oh, but when the butter melts. Book standing there praying his ass off. They called the Enterprise a garbage scow.
Sinkle says the baddies having accents, the hands of blue. I think it's deliberate, and especially the strong, very clear enunciation from the officer. It gives him a more sort of official vibe. Yeah, just another broken word. Kaylee's just, yeah. Kaylee's the whoopee.
Oh. And how does your boyfriend Deadpool feel about this?
Just, I love her so much. He's I love that Kaylee is lecturing him.
Yeah. Thanks for dropping by, Zinkel.
Bye. Harry, I have not seen the trailer for the new show that Alan Tudyk is doing. Actually, not that I can think of.
I don't think I have either.
Please tell us about it in chat.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking under the placemats just in case.
I just set the table.
And then of course we get to see that, nope, there are no kids on the ship. Technically not a lie.
Also, a nice callback to Jane's line to Simon earlier about how all the space trash ends up stuck to the outside of the ship.
Yeah.
This is cool.
No, it's not. Different perspectives.
Exactly. It's Captain now. Nice bit of backstory there. Good job.
See, and this is how we see that he's different from all the, yay, the South will rise again, da 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 da. Nope, still, yep, he can acknowledge they lost. Dun dun dun.
There will be blood. Uh-oh. Oh, that's not good. 3, 2, 1, pause. And we are paused at, if you're watching it along with me on Hulu, I am at 38 minutes, 3 seconds in, or 6 minutes, 28 seconds remaining. What a twist. What a twist for the act out. Ooh. Or maybe not. I don't know. You had to figure that out.
Did you find it twisty?
It's twisty. It doesn't, I mean, I try not to try and outthink the show when I watch it. So I didn't necessarily anticipate that, but it doesn't surprise me. I mean, I'm not like, oh my God, I didn't see that coming. It does not necessarily mean it's bad.
A reaction that's very common for you.
No, I don't. Oh my God. No.
Not so much, no. Yeah, Corey, Mal was right.
Yes.
Imagine that. The author insert character.
Yes. The author insert character was something. Right.
So.
And I think in the chat, they're talking about Alan Tudyk's upcoming show on Sci-Fi, where he is an alien doctor who solves crime. And they're saying it feels like it has either a Twin Peaks meets Starman or Twin Peaks meets Mork and Mindy vibe. Either way, I find that intriguing.
Yeah, it's a little bit zany. I think actually I have seen something about that, but yeah, well, because the title Resident Alien, I'm like, I think I've seen something about that.
Yeah, I haven't seen any. I haven't heard anything about it, but yeah.
There was. what was I excited about? Well, I remember we talked about the Fresh Prince thing.
The reunion special, yes, which I have not watched yet.
Excited about that. And then there was something else that I saw. Oh yeah, and I also mentioned to you Coming to America.
Yeah.
Which I'm just like,
the trailer looks funny. Yeah, the trailer
looks good.
Yeah.
And not just funny, but they look like they're enjoying themselves in it. And that's something that I like to see in a movie when the actors are just like having a good time. When it's a play, when they're playing, that's fun. I like that.
Yeah, I agree. Me too.
Yeah. But he has kind of a series of types, because River also is one of his types, especially with the feet, the barefoot, of the waif is definitely another one of his types. Yes, definitely. Matthew Turland asks if Malum Zoe's prior experiences with Reavers is ever fully detailed. I don't know that it is. And I can't think of an episode where we get more than just the expository dialogue.
Well, and really, given the nature of the Reavers, I mean, you don't really want too much to be revealed. I mean, you don't want too much detail, because at least at this point in the series, like part of what makes them effective bad guys is the mystery and they're the fact that everybody's terrified of them, but we don't really see all that much of them.
Yeah, except for the commander over here, who's just like, yeah, whatever. It's like, I don't believe in Reavers. It doesn't matter.
Derelict Trekkie says the Reavers are like the Borg. Yeah, except for what we just said about how you don't really see very much of them.
Yeah,
the Borg, we see way too much of them eventually.
Yeah, and but at the same time, there's a whole lot more Star Trek out there than there is Firefly. So
that's
part of it too.
But that's true. But there ain't no law saying you have to keep using the Borg.
Yeah, but they're kind of like the Joker.
You know what I'm saying? Well, there ain't no law that says you have to keep using the. There ain't no law that says you have to keep using the Joker either. I mean,
I know we've been over this.
I know you're.
We've been over this.
You're completely on board.
You know what? God, I'm so over the Joker. But I think there are still Borg stories left to tell. Joker done. Let's just. Oh my God.
Maybe.
Derelict Trekkie says that River's more like Dawn. I would say more so like who's the one in Angel? The not
Fred.
Really Fred, much more like Fred. And then I think more along to Fred. Yeah, Dawn isn't really the sort of, and I would say even from Buffy more like Tara than like Dawn.
Oh yes, I can kind of see that.
Sort of the quiet, uncertain one, and somewhat ethereal, even more so than say Willow was early Willow, who is the quiet and awkward, but not really all that quiet, to be honest. I mean,
I think Tara's a better, because Tara was in her early introduction was like really super introverted.
Yeah,
and Willow was awkward but wasn't like introverted. I mean, when she would open up to people and
yeah, Willow's probably my fave.
Willow's great,
especially well, I mean, plus the hair part on the side's the thing.
Absolutely
looks cute. Willow, for a long time, Allison Hannigan was my pick for Buttercup.
Oh yes, I remember us talking about this back once upon a time when we first started discussing like recasting Princess Bride. Yeah, I remember. Willow has arguably has the most interesting character arc too.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you can you call it an arc, because it's kind of like a roller coaster.
That's true. It doesn't really arc. It's like, whoa, holy shit!
Yeah. But yeah, and then I don't know if we really get to, but we'll talk. Well, I guess we'll talk about Reavers once we finish the show. So let's, unless you have anything else that you want to contribute.
I have nothing else at the moment. No.
Okay.
No. So
well, then why don't you count us back in? I'm just saying.
Yes, dear. Okay, once again, we are at 3803 in or 628 remaining, and I'm going to count us back in for the final segment. Everybody get ready. Counting us in from 3, 2, 1, play.
Nice performance here.
So
it's
poetic.
Beautiful. Harry, it'll be interesting to see. Besides, it's not like it gets rid of the animated version.
Two MPs, I'm flattered.
Woo!
I farted in my suit.
It smelled nice.
I know, she's...
Don't jump to conclusions, Simon. Don't. When River says don't, you friggin' don't. Dumbass. Like, he's literally said, she's smarter than me. She's smarter than me. She's still smarter than you, Simon, you dumbass.
Listen to the person who's smarter than you. Few. They're going through the tunnel to Magneto's jail cell.
Oh, really? I was thinking like an E.T.
Oh, that's even better. E.T., totally, yeah. Hello. Yeah.
Cough drops.
Well, I don't know who's going to clean this up, but I'll tell you what, mister, it's not going to be me.
I'm the captain. I order everybody else around.
Yeah, clean this up. It's an order.
It's probably going to be washed, honestly.
Yeah. Well, his name is Wash.
Exactly. Charles, I don't know if he can. Isn't that proprietary? This isn't that show.
Although, I mean, the double axe handle is lethal. It'll knock you out first time. Yeah. You're welcome.
Because you're not allowed to have money. You have to be broke. It's part of the conceit of the show.
Well, this was all wrapped up nice and neat. The end. So,
a needle pulling thread.
Well, that was abrupt. It's like one of those endings where they were like, oh, we're out of time.
Let's just establish that we're broke. We're still broke. And that's all we need.
We have, there's 1 minute left. Mal snaps his neck and they don't get the cargo. Thanks for watching, everybody. Goodbye.
But we have each other.
As long as we've got each other, we've got the world sitting right in our hands.
Several of them, apparently.
Yes, because apparently it's all one star system with several different worlds, with many worlds.
They're also Chucky. It's like, the 2020 thing.
Exactly. It could always be worse.
Always be worse. And I think we got to see one of the ways in which it can be worse.
Yeah, for that poor bastard.
You could be a Reaver too.
It doesn't look like fun, does it, kids?
I don't know. He seemed to be enjoying himself pretty well.
Well, he did, yeah. I mean, right up until the neck snap. Right up until
this. Do you think he enjoyed that too?
Maybe.
It's hard to say. I mean, it kind of goes in with their vibe.
He didn't seem happy, but, people display happiness in different ways.
Exactly. They're all too tricky. It's like forest grape. Never going to be good for them. There's always something to make it worse. It's like 2020.
And Corey, a little bit before that, said, this isn't saying much because I love the series in its entirety, but this is my least favorite episode. I've gotten that impression from a couple of people, that this is perceived as one of the weaker episodes. I mean, having not seen the rest of the series, I can't really judge. I thought it was okay. I mean, I think it's
but I think that's it. It's like, it's okay. And I think that's why, because I kept thinking that it's the next one is one that I like. And so I'm looking forward to that. And I was like, oh no, Bushwhacked. That's okay.
Yes,
repeatedly. It happened like 2 or 3 times. I was like, oh yeah, we get to, no, not yet.
But it was just disappointment because you thought we were going to watch an even better episode.
Right? Yeah. I mean, this episode is just, it's all right. And it does push, especially it does a good job of establishing Reavers as a, a sort of what they are and the sort of ultra violence and, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, definitely. It reiterates that in a pretty effective way, I think. Yeah.
See, Matthew Trollan says that he thinks the reference to the Reavers in the pilot sort of unmasked the big bad too early. And I disagree, Matthew. I think it was, because it's obviously for a first time watcher, it wasn't something that stuck with him real well. But at the same time, like once you're like, it's like, oh yeah, it's just enough that you can pull back from it. You can pull back on that and you can remember that, like, oh yeah, this is the terrible thing about the Reavers. I think it establishes it, without pushing it. And this sort of develops it and brings it along more. So
Yeah. Well, I think, and Tooth Gnash mentions because the original pilot was not actually broadcast. As far as when the show was broadcast, this episode was the first mention of the Reavers.
yes,
But if we account for the rightful pilot, I mean, one of the jobs of a pilot is to introduce viewers to the elements of the series, and obviously the Reavers were meant to be an important element of the series. So it makes sense that they would have been mentioned in the pilot. It's only proper that they would have been mentioned in the pilot. And as we talked about when we watched the pilot, that scene where the Reaver ship is passing over them is, I think, one of the most effective scenes in the pilot. It's really well done, and
yeah,
and does a
that
really
quiet.
it does a great job of establishing the threat, because it's nothing but tension the whole time as that ship is passing by.
Okay, Harry, you can't do that. What is the question? I'm really, really curious about that. And while he's typing that out, I would agree with Charles that it is kind of a downer episode. There's not, there's a little. The only real happiness, yes, is River seeing the stars. I would say that Wash talking about Zoe and Kaylee talking about the ship are not really happiness. They're moments of humor, but they're not really happiness.
Yeah. I would say
no. I don't think Matthew Turlin. I don't think that scene, watching the episodes in sequence, I don't think that defangs it. I think it sets it up for a deeper understanding. So
yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so either, because this episode doesn't really reveal any more about the Reavers than we already knew. I mean, it's not as though this episode is.
Yeah, it does.
Not really. I mean,
yes, it does.
It just tells us what we already.
The big one is that that you can become one.
Well,
and it doesn't really, you that, and we see that it happens because of, it's not just about the bleakness of space, because they weren't, way out at the edge. They were obviously in inhabited territory. So it wasn't just the exposure to, the vast nothingness that did it. It's something else. Yes. Harry, I don't think it's I don't think those two are mutually exclusive. And then of course there's the possibility that it's not just that, it's also, there were also other physiological components. I'm sure there was, all kinds of biological fluids, probably lots of blood, snot, saliva, just, blah, that got through it. I lean towards a more biological component than simply, the horror of the experience, makes him go absolutely psychotic in that exact same way. So no, I definitely think there's a biological component, but I don't think it's necessarily there. Yeah, we learn about the split tongues and the self-scarification being a part of it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. They're also tricky. I think it's not just, blood and bodily fluids, I think is the transmission here.
Yeah. But as far as the episode itself, somebody mentioned it was a bit of a downer. I mean, I think the biggest problem with the episode is just the pacing of it, and just the fact that the ending is so abrupt. It does feel like they ran out of time and they were like, we got to wrap this up. That's the big flaw in it. But other than that, I wasn't bored watching it. I wasn't checking my watch going, Jesus, how much more of this? I thought it was fine. Not as good as the train episode, probably not even as good as the pilot, but not bad by any stretch of the imagination. Just
worse than the others.
Just flawed. Yeah, more flawed than the others have been. But and that's not even that common, that uncommon of a problem on weekly TV shows, especially ones that have a lot that they want to accomplish in an episode. There were many, and this, there were many episodes of Star Trek Voyager that feel like this, that feel like they ran out of time and they just had to hurry up and end.
Yeah.
And so far, I like Firefly. I think Firefly is a better show than Voyager. I mean, 3 episodes in.
Apparently, that's not saying much.
That's
though,
not
dude.
saying a whole lot for me. But but that problem of of running up against a hard runtime and and having to be like, oh, we have to wrap it up.
Oopsie.
Yeah.
Corey, Matthew, and Harry, I don't think you've spoiled anything. Obviously, we know that the movie is going to include like this crew and some of the elements from the series, and I don't think you've given anything away, and blah.
Yeah, and Derelict Trekkie, I don't think this needed to be a two-parter. I think it just needed to be a better paced one-parter.
Yeah.
I don't think there's enough here for a two-parter. I just think they needed to. They just needed to maybe, I don't know if they needed to speed something up or cut something out or whatever, but it just feels like
I think the
it hits a wall
with
at the end.
Well, no, there was some, not so much humor, but there was some fun at the beginning with the space ball. And that could have been tightened up a little bit, and then there were just a couple other little places where they could have tightened it up and then had a little bit more room there at the ending instead of having to just be like, oh, and we're done, bye everybody.
Yeah, it just seems very abrupt.
Really abrupt.
Yeah.
So it's which is not is not the worst sin. Let's be honest.
No, yeah, it doesn't ruin it or anything. It's not like an awful episode. That's just an issue that I noticed. Yeah.
Yeah. And just another broke nerd asks you what we could have done with what else could have been done with the ending. Rather than, obviously you don't want to just linger there on them just sort of staring out the port.
I think the actual scenes themselves that we get are probably okay. They just need a little more room to breathe. I mean, like, especially that last scene where they're back on the ship and sort of wrapping up the plot with a little bit of expository dialogue about, well, I can't believe you took the cargo, blah, blah, blah. That's to me is what makes it feel really abrupt. I mean, the snapping of the guy's neck feels abrupt, but then it's like from there, it's straight back to the ship, wrap up, end of episode. It feels very compressed. That last 2 minutes or so of the episode feels really, really compressed.
Yeah.
So giving that a little bit more room to breathe, I think.
Yeah. And another possible confrontation between Mal and the commander. We're going to let you go, or having them seize the cargo, watching them take it and off of their ship.
Yeah.
Harry asks, knowing about what makes Reavers, do you think Mal killing that guy is morally okay in retrospect? I think Mal killing the guy, given that like literally they were in, immediate physical danger and he was going to kill them. Yeah, it's pretty clearly justifiable self-defense.
Yeah. And it's completely fitting with Mal's character that we've seen so far. I mean, we've seen that he is willing to cross that line. So, I mean,
yeah. I mean, they were, Now, if they had been able to subdue him and then Mal had killed him, that would make it more morally questionable. Yeah. But I mean, he kills him as he is being attacked. That's pretty much fair game.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I don't have a huge problem with that.
And also, I mean, he didn't have any weapons, like at all, which is, I will say, I have heard that the whole neck snap thing is not as easy as they make it look in Joss Whedon shows a lot.
I can't imagine it would be. Because not in most shows and movies, when a character gets killed with a neck snap, you get the impression that it's like snap, drop, dead. And I can't imagine it's actually that easy.
Yeah. I think every time I've seen a neck snap, except for one, it's been in a Joss Whedon show, which is interesting.
Really?
Yeah.
What can you remember? What the one is that?
Titus Andronicus.
Oh yeah.
Which is it's so nice. It's it's really well done. No, not necessarily Derelict Trekkie. They could have the tasers, like actual tasers. He was close enough. I mean, obviously, if he's close enough to put his hands on the guy, he's close enough for a taser. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying it can't happen, but I mean, TV reality treats it as just like, oh, anybody can do this.
Snap his neck, he's dead. Yeah.
Easy. Kaylee could pull this off. No, maybe not quite that much.
Oh, okay, yes. Corey says you clearly managed to avoid Man of Steel in that case. Corey, do not get me fucking started.
Yeah, I haven't. Let's see. Wonder Woman, I think, is the only DC movie. No, I take it back. Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey and Wonder Woman are the only DC movies that I've watched in probably more than a decade.
You didn't see Shazam?
Nope.
Shazam's pretty good. Actually, Shazam is really good. I didn't see Birds of Prey, but I hear it's good. Wonder Woman was pretty good. I'm a little I'm curious to see the new one, but I'm a little disappointed. The early reviews of the new Wonder Woman have not been very good, so I'm a little worried. But I'm curious to watch it myself.
I'm the vibe on it. I'm just like, oh wow, it looks fun.
So. Oh yeah.
Matthew, that's absolutely true about Kaylee mentioning batteries definitely being a thing.
Batteries are a thing, yes.
Batteries are a thing. Well, stored energy in general. Get him started. They're ultra trekkie. I mean, I don't know. Y'all know how much I love food, and plus I love the costuming in Birds of Prey. The plot, I don't care. The plot maybe is, I really don't, maybe isn't good. I don't know. I don't care. The characterization is good. The costuming is so much fun. And there's a roller derby, which is awesome. And there's a really, really delicious sandwich. So I'm very happy. The only Corey, exactly. Yes. And I'm sure he went to his bunk. The biggest flaw that I had with Birds of Prey is that it did not clearly establish that the Joker was actually dead. We need dead Joker.
You really want that dead Joker.
God, oh my gosh.
So, okay, can we talk about when we were texting back and forth when I was watching Titans? Because I watched,
dang it, the stupid Titans.
I watched I watched the first season of the live action Titans show. That was originally on DC Direct and now it's on HBO Max since they.
And we were talking about this as he's watching it, and he's like, "Yeah, this just isn't very good." And he's telling me about how horrible it is, and he keeps watching it.
I watched.
What is wrong with you, man?
So Jeez. the last episode of the first season of Titans, there's like this elaborate sort of fantasy sequence that involves Batman killing the Joker or wanting to kill the Joker, and Dick has to go to Gotham to try and stop him from killing the Joker. And I'm texting Dana telling her about it, and there's a moment where it looks like Batman has killed the Joker in this fake alternate future fantasy, and then I'm like, oh, never mind, too late, it spoke too soon.
They can't even give you that much. Like,
they can't even kill the fake alternate future Joker.
It's an alternate future, and then in addition to that, spoiler alert, because who cares? It's like a vision or something. Like it's a illusion.
It's like something that Trigon put in Dick's head.
Not real. And I'm just like, can we please? I mean, although in fairness, since it wasn't actually happening, I would not have been satisfied with it. But I really want the Joker to be dead and gone for definite sure.
Derelict Trekkie, I don't blame you. The first half or so of the season is really, really grim, and that was my main problem with it. Is it even in the second half of the season, it does start to lighten up, and actually the Doom Patrol episode is pretty good and doesn't have that problem, of being just overly grim. But I don't think the
miserable
show
is the word you're looking for.
That is a good, it is. It's miserable. And I don't think the show ever, at least in the first season, I haven't watched the second season yet, but in the first season, it never.
Yet he says,
I'm going to
watch this. He's planning to watch this. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Jeez.
The first season never quite gets out from under that excessively grim start. I mean, and it becomes a problem because the Dick's story arc winds up being No, I wouldn't say more miserable than Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman, but it's in that same neighborhood.
But that ain't saying a whole lot,
No,
is it?
it has that same problem. It has that same problem which is that it's so dark when it
And it
starts,
sucks.
and yeah, it's really dark, and yeah, well, that's the thing. It doesn't have anything other than the grimness to pull it along. It's not particularly clever or witty or inventive. It's just kind of like, ooh, it's all so dark. And the last episode, which granted a lot of it is a fantasy, but Dick still has a motivation and a goal in that fantasy, and it's predicated on this idea that it's a few years in the future and things in Gotham have gotten really bad. And it's like, yeah, but things were bad already. Like things were unrelentingly grim from the start. So to tell us like, oh, but things are really bad now, it doesn't quite land.
It's like he went to Bloodhaven.
Yeah. Oh, but it's even worse now. It's like, okay, okay. I mean, it was bad altogether, but
yeah, no.
Yeah. So it's not, I wouldn't say, but yeah, it's the same problem with, as far as the grimness, it's similar to the grimness in Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. Not quite that bad, but yeah.
I just don't.
Yeah. Anybody who tapped out after the first couple episodes, I do not blame you at all, because it's, yeah.
Sucks.
The first couple episodes are just, it's not just that it's grim and that it sucks. It's like there's very little promise for, you know.
Speaking of promise, don't forget, you don't get to watch season 2 yet.
I haven't. I'm not watching season 2 until you're back at school.
I don't have to put up with you telling me about it.
You don't have to hear about it.
Ugh.
Yes, Derelta Trekkie, the Arrowverse, actually, I think the Arrowverse is a perfect or near perfect model, at least in terms of tone, for how to do those kinds of shows. I think if the Titans show had been closer to the tone of an Arrowverse show, it would have been terrific, because the cast is great, the actors are terrific, the sort of broad strokes of the story they're telling is fine, but it's just the tone just makes it difficult to watch. But if it was an Arrowverse show, if it was more like The Flash or Arrow, or God, even as goofy as like Legends is like just a complete lark, like, you know, that would have been, and I mean, and that tone I think would be appropriate for a Titan show, at least based on the classic comics.
Yeah. You know? All sorts of zany hijinks ensue.
If Titans was an Arrowverse show and it was closer in tone to Legends of Tomorrow, I think that would be terrific. Yeah.
It could be. Now, on the other hand, if in season 2 you find out that they actually do kill the Joker, let me know.
I will. Oh, Dana, you've got to start watching. They killed the Joker.
All right. Like, which episode and how far in it do I have to go to watch the Joker die? And I'll watch that.
I'll give you a time code. No, we'll just watch it together. I'll just screen share it with you. Well, we'll and I'll be like, here it is.
You can't say that. You can't say that.
I mean, I'll encourage you to subscribe to HBO Max yourself.
Cussing station. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't think I'm a fan.
No. And yet Derelta Trekkie also mentions Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is also a really awesome, great example of the balance of tone, of doing a show that is super fun, but is also capable of getting serious and really hitting your emotions. It's, yeah, really good. And never being overly grim.
Corey, why would we do something like that, like sharing login credentials for any streaming?
That's illegal, Corey.
It's per household. Everyone knows.
Corey, that is theft, and I will have you know, I would certainly never be party to that.
That would be very anti-capitalist of us.
I know that Dana would never ever do anything like that.
Nope.
Ever. Look how innocent she looks. How could you doubt that face? That innocent face. Derelta Trekkie, I'm not afraid of how grim, dark, dumb the Snyder Cut's going to be, because I ain't ever going to watch it. I'm not afraid of it, because it's never going to be my problem.
Not my circus, not my monkeys,
exactly.
not my Justice League.
Not my Haley Circus. Not my Bippo the monkey.
Or Sitka, who is not a monkey, but
Who
an
is
elephant, but also likes peanuts.
That,
All right. Well, we are not talking about Firefly like at all.
No, we are
have
not.
Apparently just
we're going off into DC Comics adaptations, which, by the way, is kind of appropriate because on Monday we have a new Batman video coming out.
Yes, we do, and it has nothing to do with cops this time.
No, it has to do with Robin.
Yes,
the original kid sidekick. You have to correct me early in the video. In the video, I say he's the original sidekick, and that, of course, is not true because there is Dr. Watson, who predates Robin by about 60 years. So, that's slight oversight on my part.
Steve.
I know. Yeah, Corey, that's not the only reason I'm staying subscribed to HBO Max. I do think it's a good service and it does have a lot of stuff on there I want to watch. But yes, one of the reasons that I am taking pleasure in keeping HBO Max is so I can make a point to not watch the Snyder Cut. Yes.
I Love Funny AMV second says, but which Robins? The answer is everyone except for Damien.
Yes. We talk about all of them. We at least mention all of them. We don't talk about all of them in depth. Oh no, we don't mention Carrie. We don't mention Carrie from Dark Knight Returns. But we mentioned Steph's brief stint. We mentioned
Stephanie
Damien.
Brown deserves so much better.
Yes, she does. And of course we mentioned Dick and Jason and Tim, sort of the big three. And so it's a really good video. And it goes up on Monday, and I'm not there. There's nothing on this channel for the rest of the week because it's the holiday. So I'm not doing a live stream on Friday. Actually, no, I think on Sunday, I'm still going to do the Patreon chat on Sunday noon after Christmas. And then, but like next week, I'm not doing a conversation stream, but we are doing this next week. Are we not? Or did we? Or did we decide?
Yeah, I think we are because next week we're doing this, and we're still doing
Read Away. Yeah. So we'll be back in a week from tonight for the next Trek Reluctantly, where we will be watching Deep Space Nine, and we'll be watching episode 4 of Deep Space Nine. Yes, episode 4 of Deep Space Nine, titled Babel. And that'll be the next Trek Reluctantly, and then not this coming Friday, but a week
what
from.
What did you say it was called?
Babel.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why?
Babel is an interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing why it's called Babel.
Well, I hope you will find it interesting.
Okay. Daryl Trekkie, yes. Steph had Steph and Babs is great together. But no, yeah, she was absolutely Harry Garrison is absolutely right. Steph was done dirty. She was sidelined so much, and her storylines were crap in so many different cases.
Yeah,
Charles, no, that's Babelfish.
You pronounce it Babel. I pronounce it Babel. You say the Tower of Babel.
Yeah, like literally, it is the Tower of Babel.
Okay, well then
because that's what it led to. Like the
Babel, the mixing up. Well, okay, well then for you the episode is titled Babel.
Well, but do they say Babel?
I don't know. They never say it. No.
Okay. So it's just a you thing.
It's just a me thing.
Okay. Well, who cares about that then?
Exactly.
I mean,
why should you?
Dear Alter Trekkie.
And
I don't know, but they should be sorry for what they did, because that was a bad story, and they should be ashamed.
It was a bad story for a bunch of reasons. It was a bad story because they killed off a great character. It was a bad story because they fridged a female character. It was a bad story because they had already done a dead Robin story.
Yep.
So why do we need to do that again? It was just,
because they wanted to get rid of Steph.
Yeah. It just wasn't good. It just wasn't good.
John Henry, I disagree. I think there's that it's a coincidence of similar spelling. I think there's etymological connection there. Although I haven't looked it up recently. But I've always heard it like, in church, heard about the Tower of Babel.
Mhm. I mean, I have heard it pronounced Babel. You're not the first person I've ever heard to pronounce it that way. I just,
So there. You just think I'm wrong. But
No.
I'm not.
It's just an alternate pronunciation. Or maybe mine is an alternate pronunciation and yours is the default, if that would make you happy for me to concede that.
Just another broke nerd is being charitable. Speaking of charitable, Steve.
The charity links, which our friend Some Random Geek reminded us to not forget. Yes, there are charity links in the description of the video that take you to a Google Doc with links to fundraising sites and PayPals and stuff for some friends of ours who need a helping hand. So if you have a few extra bucks to spare, especially given that it's the holidays and it's a rough time for a lot of people who are struggling, click the link, go check out that Google Doc. And if you can possibly contribute to help out our friends, please do so. And yeah, thank you all so much for being with us. Those of you who are celebrating the holidays coming up this week, have a happy holiday, a Merry Christmas, whatever holiday you celebrate. And we will be back next week. We'll be back on Monday for a Batman video, and we'll be back next week for some more live streams. And until then, we'll see everybody. Thanks for watching Firefly with us. Take care.